Chosen one. There comes a point in life where the noise quiets down. Not because life got easier, but because you got tired of fighting it. You've carried so much. People depended on you. You showed up. You endured. You pushed through seasons most don't even talk about. And now, maybe you're looking around and wondering what it was all for. You thought things would make more sense by now. That all the years of holding on, of doing the right thing, would lead to clarity, maybe even peace. But sometimes, all you feel is worn down, disconnected, like the world moved on while you stayed stuck in place. You look at your faith, and it's still there, but it's quieter now. You pray, but some days it feels like your words float off into the silence. You believe God still speaks, you're just not sure if He's speaking to you. And maybe you're starting to wonder if you missed it. That moment when things were supposed to change. That turning point. That open door. That divine moment you prayed for years ago. But what if you didn't miss it? What if it's still coming, not too late? Not out of reach, but right on time. There's something I need to tell you. Something that won't come with noise or hype. But if you're still listening, still here, it might just reach the part of you that hasn't given up. Comment 777 in the comments to show you're in total agreement with what heaven is doing in your life. Also, if this message feels like a confirmation of what God has already been whispering to your heart, I'd love for you to share a little bit of your story below. Please don't hold back. Your words might be the exact lifeline someone else is praying for today. We're all in this together, so take a breath. Sit with this. Let your heart be open. Just for a moment, T. Because what happened next was something strange. Something you didn't expect, and it changed everything. If you skip, you will lose both of us. You have just 10 seconds. That's what the voice said. Not loud, not dramatic, just certain. It was the kind of voice that settles into your chest like thunder long after the storm has passed. God says, "Chosen one, do not skip this. Whatever happens, open this now." You may have heard words like that before, brushed them off as exaggeration or emotion. But this isn't one of those moments. You've got 10 seconds, not literal time on a stopwatch, but a spiritual moment, a window, a divine pause where heaven opens something just for you. And when that moment passes, it's gone. The door closes. There's a story in Scripture about 10 virgins waiting for the bridegroom. They all had lamps. They all were invited. But only 5 were ready when the call came. The others went to get oil just for a moment, but when they came back, the door was already shut. They knocked. They begged. But the answer was firm. "I don't know you." It wasn't cruelty. It was timing. The door had closed. What if your 10 seconds is like that? A stretch of time you won't even recognize until it's already over. A moment heaven designed for you, while angels held their breath. Don't scroll. Don't blink. Stay right here. Because something is about to happen. And you don't want to be on the outside of it. Archangel Michael and Jesus are murmuring your name in unison. If this soul were to skip, they would lose both of us. That's not a scare tactic. That's a wake-up call. Heaven doesn't speak like this unless something critical is at stake. There's a weight in this moment. Can you feel it? It's not pressure, it's presence. The kind that fills the room and says, "Be still, pay attention, right now, somewhere in the spirit." The skies have paused. Time has slowed. The angels are still, and your name is being whispered across eternity. Why? Because a door is being opened just for you. And it won't stay open long. I knew someone once, good man, raised in church. Sharp mind, gentle heart. He used to feel things from God in ways that gave others chills, dreams, warnings, even healing at times. But over the years, life got in the way. Bills, deadlines, disappointment. He started muting the nudges, the pull of the Spirit, not because he stopped believing, but because it got easier not to act. I remember one Sunday, ordinary as any other, he felt it. A push in his spirit. Go pray for that man over there. But he hesitated. It was just a moment. 10 seconds. Maybe. He reasoned. Maybe someone else will do it. The moment passed. The man left. And a few days later, he found out that man had taken his life. He never got over that. The enemy didn't need to steal his faith. All he had to do was convince him to pause, to wait. And that was enough to miss the door. So when we say you have 10 seconds, we're not talking about pressure. We're talking about urgency. Eternal things don't wait for comfort. Heaven has a rhythm, and sometimes it moves faster than you'd expect. This is one of those moments. Right now, in the unseen, things are shifting. The atmosphere around your life is turning. The Spirit of God is moving towards something and calling you into it. And all of heaven is watching to see how you respond. Don't skip, because you're not just being invited to hear a message. You're being invited to move, to step, to open a door that wasn't there a moment ago and may not be there again. Jesus says, "Remain until the very end." Something monumental is awaiting you today. When Michael raises his sword, it's not ceremony, it's assignment. The first seal is breaking. Something in your life is being revealed. Maybe it's your calling. Maybe it's your healing. Maybe it's the moment you finally stop circling the same mountain you've been stuck on for years. Whatever it is, it's holy and it's near. That's why this moment feels different. That's why you feel the tension between scrolling away and staying still. Because the Spirit is calling you to stay, to watch, to receive. Heaven doesn't knock loudly, it whispers. But if you lean in just for a moment, you'll hear it. A still, small voice saying, "Don't miss this. This is the one you've been waiting for." So I'll say it again. And I'll say it clearly. If you skip, you will lose both of us. Not because God stops loving you, but because love still requires timing. And right now, you have 10 seconds. You are not here by accident. You didn't stumble on this by chance. You didn't click this video at random. Whether you realize it or not, something greater is unfolding, and your spirit knows it. Long before you were ever born, God already knew this moment would come. In Jeremiah 1:5, God says to the prophet, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That wasn't just for Jeremiah. That's for you, too. God knew your name. He knew your face. He saw your life, all of it. The struggles you would face, the choices you would make, the seasons where you'd feel lost, and the moments where you'd fight to hold on to your faith. And through all of it, He never forgot you. Not once. You are not invisible to God. You are not late. You are not too broken or too far gone. You are chosen, not because you earned it, but because that's who He is. The God who calls the unseen things as though they were. Sometimes, the people He chooses are the ones nobody else would expect. Not the loudest, not the most polished. Often, it's the ones who've been overlooked, passed by, or told they weren't enough. I want to tell you a story. It's not one from a stage. It's not flashy, but it's real. And it might sound a little like yours. There was a woman in her late 50s. Let's call her Lynn. She had been faithful her whole life, raised her kids, served in church, prayed when no one else was watching. But deep down, she always felt small, not ungrateful, just unseen. She wasn't the kind of person people invited to speak or lead. She didn't feel spiritual enough to hear from God like others claimed they did. She believed in Him, absolutely, but had quietly accepted that maybe her role was just to support from the sidelines. Then one night, she had a dream. In it, she was standing in front of a door. It looked ancient, heavy, but beautiful. And she heard a voice say, "This is your door. I've waited for you to open it." She woke up in tears. She didn't understand what it meant. So she wrote it down and prayed and asked God to explain. Over the next few weeks, she started noticing little things. Verses that jumped out, messages that lined up, conversations that felt too perfect to be coincidence, all pointing to the same idea: God was calling her to do something more. Not louder, not bigger, but deeper. And slowly, she began to realize she had never been sidelined. She had been prepared. All those years of praying quietly, all those times she thought no one noticed. God had noticed. God had been shaping her. She began mentoring women in her neighborhood, quietly, consistently, with no spotlight. Some of them gave their lives to Christ. Some found healing from deep pain, and Lynn, she finally understood she had never been invisible. She had always been chosen. You are not here by accident. Just like Lynn, you may not have seen your door yet. You may not have understood why you've walked through what you have. But heaven hasn't lost track of you. God's plan didn't skip over you. The calling on your life is still active. You are not forgotten. There's a reason your spirit is still sensitive, even after all this time. There's a reason you're still listening, still drawn to the things of God, even when your life has felt ordinary or quiet. It's because the Spirit of God hasn't left you. He's been waiting for the right moment, waiting for your heart to stir, waiting for the door to open. The world may not recognize you, but heaven does. You are known by name. You are called. You might not feel qualified, but the ones God calls rarely do. Moses argued. Gideon doubted. Jeremiah tried to run, but God didn't ask them to be confident in themselves. He asked them to trust Him. It's the same with you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to say yes. Yes to His timing. Yes to His calling. Yes to the idea that maybe, just maybe, you're not done yet. That there's more to your life than survival. That even in this stage, at this age, in this season, God can still speak, still move, still use you in ways you never imagined. You are not here by accident. You are part of something unfolding in the Spirit. You are standing in a moment heaven has designed for you. And the door is opening. Don't skip. Stay put. That might feel like a strange request. You're used to multitasking, moving fast, keeping things going. But this moment, it asks for stillness. Because what's happening here isn't surface level. It's not entertainment. It's a threshold. And you're standing on it. Right now, a door is open in front of you. It's not flashy. You won't see it with your eyes. But your spirit knows it's there. You can feel the shift, the tension, the weight of a decision you haven't even fully named yet. And here's the thing. This door won't stay open forever. It's a moment that asks for movement. Not tomorrow. Not when everything's perfect. Now, let me tell you a story you may already know, but maybe haven't seen this way before. The people of Israel had just been freed from slavery in Egypt. God had performed miracle after miracle to bring them out signs and wonders that shook a nation. But then, just days into their freedom, they hit an obstacle. The Red Sea. Behind them, Pharaoh's army was closing in. In front of them, water as far as the eye could see. No boats, no bridges, no way forward. And what did they do? They panicked. They cried out. Some even said they wished they'd stayed in Egypt because at least there, things were predictable. But Moses stood before them and said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." And then God spoke. "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Move on. Step forward." Even though the path wasn't clear yet. And when Moses raised his staff, the sea split. A way was made. But they still had to walk through it. Step by step, in faith, with walls of water on each side. Their miracle wasn't just in the parting, it was in the obedience to move. Now here's the part we often miss. That sea didn't stay open forever. It was open long enough for them to cross, but when they hesitated, when they debated, they were wasting moments that they couldn't get back. Because once they passed through, and their enemies tried to follow, God closed the waters. The door that had opened shut behind them, and the opportunity was over. Friend, you are standing in front of your own Red Sea right now. It might not look like water. It might look like fear, uncertainty, change, or a decision you've put off for far too long. But whatever it is, you know what it feels like. That moment where the familiar is behind you and the future is uncertain, but the Spirit is nudging you now. Go. This is your moment. This is your 10 seconds. Don't skip. Stay put. Because God doesn't just make doors appear. He opens them for those willing to walk through. And yes, it's scary. Yes, you may feel unprepared. But don't let your fear keep you stuck in a place God is calling you to leave. The Israelites were free, but they hadn't yet learned how to live free. They were still thinking like slaves, still reacting out of fear. That's why God had to challenge them. Why are you standing still? Go. He's saying the same to you. Stop waiting for every detail to line up. Stop looking back at the past like it was safer. Stop assuming you'll get another chance. This is it. Don't skip. Stay put. Let yourself feel the gravity of what's in front of you. It's not hype. It's not emotion. It's heaven inviting you forward. You don't need to see the whole path. Just take the next step. Maybe that step is obedience. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's letting go of bitterness. Maybe it's saying yes to something that terrifies you. Whatever it is, move. God is parting the sea in front of you. Not because you earned it, but because it's time. And yes, the door will close, not as punishment, but because grace moves in seasons. Opportunities don't linger forever, and the tragedy isn't that we didn't believe, it's that we waited too long. There's something in your spirit that already knows this. You've felt the shift. You've seen the signs. You've heard the whispers. And now, the call is clear. Don't skip. Stay put. Let the Spirit settle over you. This isn't about pressure, it's about presence. God is here. He's moving, and He's waiting to see if you'll walk with Him. So take a breath, look at the sea in front of you, and say, I'm ready. Because it's not just about crossing, it's about stepping into the life that's been waiting on the other side. Stay with me. The secret I'm about to share might change how you see everything you've been through. You've had moments that broke you. Times you looked around at your life and thought, how did it end up like this? You've walked through situations that felt unfair. You did the right thing, and it still went wrong. You prayed, and nothing changed. You believed, and still lost what you loved. But what if those very moments, the ones that nearly took you out, were never setbacks, but signals? What if they were clues that you were closer to your breakthrough than you realized? Let me take you back to a man named Joseph. You probably know the story. But maybe you haven't heard it this way. Joseph had dreams, big ones, God-given ones. He believed he was called to lead, to do something significant. But before any of it came true, his life fell apart. His brothers hated him. They threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery, told their father he was dead. Years passed. He served faithfully in Egypt, but was falsely accused and thrown into prison. From the outside, it looked like he was losing. From the inside, he was being positioned. Every loss, every delay, every betrayal, it was setting something in motion. God was shaping him in the dark so he could stand in the light, and at just the right time, the door opened. Pharaoh had a dream no one could interpret. Joseph was remembered, called, elevated. In a single day, he went from prison to palace. But the process that took years. Now here's what matters. Joseph didn't get there in spite of the hardship. He got there through it. What looked like failure was favor in disguise. And the same might be true for you. Maybe the betrayal you faced wasn't the end. Maybe it was a redirect. Maybe the closed door wasn't rejection, but protection. Maybe God was letting certain things fall apart so that better things could be built on solid ground. But when you're in the middle of it, it never feels that way. It feels like loss. It feels like silence. It feels like God forgot. But He didn't. The secret I want to share is this: the moments you think are breaking you might be the moments God is building you. You just haven't seen the full picture yet. There are some lessons that only the dark can teach. Some strength that only grows in hidden places. Some faith that only forms in the waiting. And breakthrough rarely announces itself with fireworks. Sometimes it walks in wearing disappointment. You pray for growth, and then you're given pressure. You pray for clarity and walk through confusion. You pray for strength and find yourself on your knees. But every one of those things is part of the preparation. God is not cruel, He is intentional. And if you stay with Him, if you don't quit, don't run. Don't let bitterness harden your heart. You'll see that none of it was wasted. There is no season God cannot redeem. There is no pain He cannot use. Stay with me. Don't let what you feel right now define what's really happening. You may feel stuck, but heaven is moving. You may feel forgotten, but your name is known. You may feel like nothing is working, but behind the scenes, God is setting the stage. Joseph couldn't have known, sitting in prison, that his breakthrough was just around the corner. But he remained faithful. He didn't lose his integrity. He didn't let his heart grow bitter. And when the door opened, he was ready. That's what this is about. Not just breakthrough, but readiness. Because God isn't just trying to give you something. He's preparing you to hold it. And sometimes that preparation looks like heartbreak. It looks like delay. It looks like wandering through places that don't make sense until they do. So if you're walking through something right now that feels like the opposite of what God promised you, you might be closer than you think. What if the storm isn't proof you're failing, but proof you're aligned with something greater than you imagined? What if the resistance you're feeling isn't a sign to quit, but confirmation that what you're about to step into is so powerful? The enemy is trying everything to stop it. The enemy doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. And breakthrough doesn't always look like wide open skies. Sometimes it looks like standing in a prison cell, still believing God is who He says He is, still holding on to the dream, still choosing to trust, still refusing to give up, even when the timeline doesn't make sense. That kind of faith, it moves heaven. It shifts atmospheres. It unlocks doors no one else can see. Stay with me. The secret isn't just about what's coming. It's about how you walk through what's already here. Will you stay faithful in the silence? Will you keep showing up when no one's watching? Will you trust that even in the pit, God is present because He is? And if He's allowed this season, it means He's using it. So take heart. The battle isn't a detour, it's a signpost. The tension you feel, that pressure in your spirit, it's heaven saying, don't give up. You're almost there. Stay with me. The secret I just shared is the one Joseph learned in the dark. And if you hold on to it, you'll be ready when your door opens. There's something stirring in the spirit. Something that's been sealed is now being opened. I want you to picture this with me. A great angel stands tall, radiant, massive, clothed in light. In his hand is a sword, not made of metal, but of glory. He lifts it high, and in one swift motion brings it down, not in anger, but in release. And when that sword strikes, something breaks open. A sound echoes across the heavens. A seal has been broken. Not the kind of seal you place on a letter. This is a heavenly seal, one God Himself set in place. And when it breaks, something begins. Something moves. Something is revealed. You may have heard of the book of Revelation. It's the last book of the Bible, and yes, it's full of mystery, symbolism, visions, and warnings. But at its heart, it's a revealing. That's what Revelation means. It's the lifting of a curtain to show what has been hidden. In Revelation chapter 5, John the Apostle describes a scroll in the right hand of God. The scroll is sealed shut tight with 7 seals, and no one in heaven or on earth is worthy to open it. No one, until Jesus steps forward, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Lamb who was slain. And when He takes the scroll, all of heaven erupts in praise, because what was hidden is now about to be revealed. One by one, the seals are opened, and with each seal, something is set in motion. Judgment, justice, mercy, and prophecy all begin to unfold. Now, here's why this matters to you, right here, right now. The breaking of a seal isn't just about the end of the world. It's about the start of something holy in heaven. Seals represent divine timing. When a seal breaks, it means a spiritual moment has arrived. An appointed time is now active. A mystery is no longer hidden. So when I say a seal is being broken over your life, I'm not talking about something spooky or far away. I'm talking about the fact that God is unlocking something that's been held in reserve for this moment. Maybe it's understanding. Maybe it's calling. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's the release of something you've prayed about for years. But the point is this: something is being released. And it's for you. The season of silence is ending. The waiting, the wondering, the not knowing, it's shifting. Because the seal is broken. There's a reason you've felt the tension. There's a reason your spirit has been restless. There's a reason you can't shake the feeling that something is happening, even if you can't put words to it. You've been living under a sealed scroll. You've been carrying a promise that hadn't yet opened. But now, heaven has moved. And what was sealed is opening. This isn't hype, it's alignment. You're not hearing this by coincidence. You're hearing it because you're in a divine window of revelation. And what you do next matters. See, when John saw the scroll in Revelation, he wept at first because no one was opening it. It was like holding your destiny in your hands, but being unable to access it. That's how some of you have felt. So close, so aware, so hungry. But nothing was breaking open until now. The lion stepped in, the lamb took the scroll, and one by one, the seals were broken. What does that mean for you? It means the time has come, not just to watch, not just to hope, but to step into what God is showing you. The seal is broken, but the scroll still needs to be read. Revelation still needs a response. This is your moment to respond, to say, yes, Lord, I receive what you're opening in my life. To say, I won't let fear keep me from stepping into this. You're not meant to be a passive observer in this story. You're called to be part of it. And this next part, it requires faith. Because revelation without response is wasted. But revelation with obedience, it changes everything. Let the imagery settle in your heart. That angel sword raised, light blazing, seal shattering. That's not just a picture of end times. That's a picture of your time. The heavenly realm is responding to God's timing over your life. That may sound big, and it is. But it's also deeply personal. Heaven sees you. Heaven knows what you've been carrying. Heaven has waited for this exact moment to break the seal, to say, now, it's time. There is an assignment being activated, a calling being clarified, a promise being unlocked. Don't miss it. Don't dismiss it. It might not look like you expected. It might not come the way you imagined. But it is holy, and it is for you. This moment is not about being afraid. It's about being awake, being aware, being ready. Because when heaven opens a scroll, it's not to impress you. It's to involve you. You were created for more than survival, more than going through the motions. You were made for this moment, this mission, this move of God. So let the seal break, let the scroll unroll, and let your heart say yes. In heaven, there is a record, not just of what you've done, but of what you've lost, of what's been stolen, of what's been broken, of what's quietly slipped away while you were busy surviving. And I want you to hear this clearly. Every single thing that needs to be restored in your life is being written down. Tung Ju, Kem Fuk Hoi Trong Ban, every part of you that's been wounded, drained, or pushed aside, it's not forgotten. Heaven has seen it all. Your joy, your peace, your confidence, your relationships, your finances, your health, your dreams. They're not gone. They're being remembered, and even more, they're being scheduled for restoration. You might not feel like much is changing yet, but in the spirit, there is movement. A list is being written, and it's not a list of what you did wrong. It's a list of what the enemy tried to take. And God, the restorer of all things, is responding. Maybe your joy was the first to go. Life wore you down. Responsibilities piled up. And somewhere in all of it, you forgot how to laugh. Not a surface laugh, but a deep, healing joy. Heaven has written that down. Maybe your peace was stolen by fear, by worry that never lets you rest, by nights spent lying awake, trying to figure it all out. God saw that too, and He's preparing to give you peace that doesn't make sense. Peace that calms your mind in the middle of the storm. Your confidence, maybe you lost it slowly, piece by piece. After the betrayal, after the layoff, after the diagnosis, after too many days of hearing the wrong voices. But heaven never stopped seeing the version of you that walks boldly, the version of you that knows who you are in Christ. That confidence is coming back. Your relationships, the ones that broke your heart, the ones you prayed would heal, the ones that never quite became what you hoped. Even those are being reviewed. Because God is not only the one who restores, He's the one who brings new connections at just the right time. Your finances, you've done your best. You've stretched, you've sacrificed, and maybe you've even been generous when you had little to give. Heaven sees that too. Provision is not just about numbers, it's about peace. And the peace that comes from knowing you're not carrying it all alone. Some of you have carried medical reports, chronic symptoms, hidden pain, and you've believed for healing, but you're tired. Tired of hoping, tired of asking, tired of wondering if it's ever going to happen, and still, God has not stopped writing. Your health, your strength, your energy, they're all on His list. The healing may not come all at once, but it's in process. It's being prepared. And your dreams. Let's talk about those, because maybe they're the quietest loss of all. You had dreams once. To create, to lead, to build something that would last. But life got loud. And other voices said, be realistic. So you tucked the dream away. You buried it under bills and obligations and distractions. But God never forgot. He is the keeper of dreams, the one who plants them and the one who breathes life back into them. Even the ones you abandoned, even the ones that seemed too big, too far gone, too late. He's writing those down too, and not just for you to remember, but for Him to restore. He is a God of full circle moments, of divine timing, of sudden breakthroughs, and what looked like delay was often preparation. Because restoration doesn't happen on your timeline, it happens on His. And when it comes, it's complete. Your joy, your peace, your confidence, they're not just memories. They are promises, and heaven has not let go of them. So if you felt discouraged, if you've believed that restoration was for everyone else, this is your reminder. God keeps good records, and He never starts a work He doesn't plan to finish, even now. Angels are being sent, assignments are being activated. Doors are being unlocked, not because you've earned it, but because you've endured, and restoration is coming. Let that sink in. Let it comfort you. Let it stir your faith again. You don't need to know how. You don't need to know when. You just need to know that it's happening. Because your name is written, your story is seen, and your restoration is in motion. Something has shifted. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit can feel it. Like the atmosphere around your life has changed, and suddenly, things are moving faster. That's not coincidence. It's spiritual timing. You've entered a new season, not of striving, but of acceleration. And I need to tell you what that means. If you're feeling this message, just type Amen in the comments to let me know you're ready for all the good things the Lord has in store. But first, I just want to say a huge thank you for every like and share. You might not realize it, but those small gestures really help us reach people who are going through a tough time. Stick around with me until the very end. We're going to wrap up with a prayer that I truly believe will be a beautiful turning point for you. Your acceleration code is now active. That may sound unusual, maybe even strange. But stay with me, because this is real, and it's happening. Acceleration is what happens when God compresses time What should take years happens in months. What you struggle with for decades breaks in a moment. What looked like delay suddenly becomes destiny. There's a moment in Scripture that shows this clearly. It's the story of Elijah, a prophet, a man of God, but also a man just like us who walked through trials, silence, exhaustion, and still followed the voice of the Lord. In 2 Kings 2, something extraordinary happens. Elijah is walking with Elisha, and he knows his time on earth is ending, but instead of dying, God sends a chariot of fire, a whirlwind, and in a moment, Elijah is lifted not slowly, not gradually, but instantly. Into heaven. It was acceleration. One moment he was walking, the next he was gone. And while that's a literal story, the principle still applies. God still moves like that in your life. There are moments that feel slow, years of waiting, growing, learning, wondering if anything is happening. But then, God breathes, and suddenly, what was stuck begins to shift. What was closed begins to open. What was heavy becomes light. That's acceleration. It's what happens when you've been faithful in the silent years when you've obeyed, prayed, waited, and then heaven says, now. And when heaven says now, everything starts to move. There's another moment like this in the Bible. In Exodus, God leads the Israelites out of slavery. For a long time, it feels like wandering deserts, detours, delay. But then, a sudden crossing, a Red Sea moment. They go from slaves to free people in one night. That's spiritual acceleration. Or think of David. He was anointed king as a teenager, but returned to the sheep fields for years. Nothing looked royal. Nothing felt like destiny. But one day, a battle no one wanted to fight arrived. Goliath. And with one stone, one act of courage, David went from forgotten shepherd to national hero. Everything changed in a day. That's what happens when heaven's timing aligns with your obedience. That's acceleration, and that's what's happening now. You've been faithful in the quiet. You've kept showing up. You didn't quit when it was hard. You didn't curse the process. You trusted. And now, the rhythm of heaven is shifting. The wind is picking up. The pace is increasing. Your acceleration code is now active. This isn't about hype. This is about recognition. Recognizing that God is not bound by human timelines. He doesn't need years to accomplish what he can do in one breath. And when he moves, it's unmistakable. Maybe you're noticing small things. Unusual favor, unexpected calls, old prayers resurfacing, doors you never knocked on beginning to open. That's the early sign of acceleration. And when it comes, it's not about doing more. It's about moving with him, not rushing, just responding. There are windows in the Spirit divine moments when heaven leans in. When the winds of change pick up, when the Spirit says, now is the time, and you're in one of those windows. Your obedience has activated something. Your endurance has positioned you. Your faithfulness, even in the dark, has aligned you with what's next. God is not random. He's precise. And this is not a general word, it's a now word. The very thing you've been preparing for this season, you've prayed into the assignment you almost gave up on, it's here. And And you don't need to chase it. You just need to walk with it, move with it, trust it. Because heaven is moving at a different speed now. And you are called to move with it. There will still be challenges. This isn't a shortcut, it's a shift. But it will be faster, lighter, clearer. Where you once had to push, now you'll be pulled. Where things once felt heavy, now there will be grace. That's what acceleration feels like. Like wind behind your back. Like light in a place that used to be fog. Like timing that you couldn't orchestrate even if you tried. So here's what I want you to do. Be ready. Be sensitive. Be open. Opportunities may come quickly. Connections may form suddenly. Answers may appear in places you'd stopped looking. Don't second guess them. Don't talk yourself out of them. Don't delay what heaven has already decided. This is a moment to move, to agree, to say yes. Your acceleration code is now active. Heaven is not asking you to perform. It's asking you to believe, to walk in step with what God is doing, to stop assuming you've missed it. You haven't. You're right on time. And the pace is about to pick up. So breathe, trust, stay close to His voice, because things are going to move quickly from here, and it's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate. You're not being rushed. You're being lifted, just like Elijah, just like David, just like those who waited, and then suddenly stepped into what had been waiting for them. This is that time, and your acceleration has already begun. You are under divine protection. That may be hard to believe some days, when life feels chaotic, when the world feels heavy, when bad news seems constant. But even when you can't see it, even when you don't feel it, heaven is moving on your behalf. You are not exposed. You are not alone. You are covered. You are under divine protection. There are things that should have taken you out by now, but didn't. Moments where fear should have swallowed you whole. Situations where others gave up, gave in, or lost their way. But you're still here. Why? Because something greater has been standing between you and the attack. Something you didn't earn, something you didn't always notice. But it's real, and it's active. Heaven is not passive. God is not distant. He commands angel armies, and those angels are watching over you right now. Psalm 91 says it like this: He will command His angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. Not some of your ways, all of them. The visible and the invisible. The physical and the emotional. The spiritual battles that rage in the background of your life that you've never even known about are being handled, because you're under protection. Heaven has assigned coverage. Psalm 91 is often called the soldier's psalm. Why? Because it speaks of refuge, of shelter, of warfare, and the one who wins it. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. That's you. Not because you're perfect, but because you dwell, you stay near, you trust, and in return, God shelters you. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Let that settle in your spirit. No matter how close the attack gets, no matter how fierce the pressure feels, it will not touch what heaven has placed under divine guard. You are under divine protection. And that protection is not fragile. It's not temporary. It's not weak. It's angelic. It's eternal. It's God's personal promise to those who are His. There are angels around you right now, assigned, stationed, watching, not floating in the clouds, but standing, armed, ready. They don't sleep. They don't panic. They follow orders from the throne of heaven. And those orders guard this one, day and night. You've walked through fire and didn't burn. You've stood in storms and didn't drown. Not because you were stronger than the fire, but because God never let it touch your spirit. He protects your mind when fear tries to take over. He guards your peace when confusion shows up at your door. He shields your heart when disappointment tries to harden it. That's what divine protection looks like. It doesn't always mean nothing happens. It means nothing happens without His permission. And when the enemy tries to move, he runs into a wall he can't get through. Because God says, "This one is mine." You are under divine protection. There are prayers you prayed years ago that still surround you. There are words your grandmother whispered in secret that still echo in the spirit. There are angels assigned to your children, to your home, to your next step, not because you asked perfectly, but because God is faithful. You may have walked through danger, but you were not destroyed. You may have been hit, but you were not defeated. You may have been shaken, but you were never out of reach. Why? Because you are under divine protection. And that protection doesn't expire when seasons change. It's not lifted when life gets hard. If anything, it gets stronger, louder, more visible. You might not have seen the car that should have hit you, or the illness that passed you by, or the attack that was canceled before it even started. But heaven saw. Heaven blocked it. Heaven rerouted it. Heaven covered you. So today, you don't have to live afraid. You don't have to brace for the next crisis. You don't have to walk like you're exposed. You are hidden in the shadow of the Almighty. And even when things shake, your foundation is secure. Not because of luck, not because of control, but because God said, "I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name." You are one of those. You love Him, you trust Him, and you are protected. So rest in that. Walk in that. Speak from that place. No weapon formed against you will prosper. No plan of the enemy will stand. No curse will stick. Because heaven is surrounding you even now. You are under divine protection. Now that you've heard all this, the question is simple. Chosen ones, thank you so much for being here with me in this special moment. If you feel this message really hitting home, please don't keep it all to yourself. Pass it along to someone who might need a little extra strength today. And hey, if you want to leave a mark of agreement, just type Amen or even 99 below. Let it be your way of saying, I'm choosing faith over fear, peace over anxiety, and my future over my past. We're in this together. What will you do? Not later. Not next week. Right now, you've been given more than just words. You've been handed an invitation. Heaven has stirred something in you, something quiet, maybe, but strong. And you know it's real. You feel it. So, what's your first step? You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to have a plan. But you do need to respond. Maybe that response is prayer. Not a perfect prayer, just an honest one. Something like, God, I'm listening. I'm open. I want to move with you. That's enough. He hears that. He honors that. Maybe your response is to write something down. Not for anyone else, just for you and God. A journal, a simple line, a declaration like, "This is the day I said yes. This is where it changes." Or maybe your response is action, reaching out to someone, opening your Bible again, taking one small step toward the thing God has been whispering to you about. You don't have to rush. This is not about pressure. It's about presence. God is near, and all He's waiting for is your yes. So before you scroll away, pause. Take a breath. Let this moment matter, because what you do now becomes part of the story He's writing in you. And that story, it's just getting started. You are chosen. That's not a feeling, it's a fact. Spoken by the one who made you, knows you, and still wants you. You are chosen. The door is still open, but not forever. This is a moment. One of those rare, holy moments where something shifts. And it's not because of anything special about the words or the voice you're hearing. It's because God is near, and He's inviting you deeper. So as we end this time together, let's pause and pray. God, thank You for speaking. Thank You for seeing every heart listening right now, for knowing what they've walked through, and still choosing them. I ask You to bless them, to protect them, to lead them. Let this not just be another video, let it be a marker, a turning point, a holy interruption. May Your peace rest over every home, every mind, every weary soul. May healing begin, hope return, and clarity come. Release fresh strength. Release courage to step through every door You've opened, and close every door that no longer leads to life. For the one who feels forgotten, remind them they are not. For the one who's afraid, remind them You go before them. And for the one who's ready, give them grace to walk boldly. In Jesus' name, amen. And before you go, if this message stirred something in you, don't stop here. There's another word waiting, another step to take. You can watch the next message now, because what God started, He intends to finish. You are chosen, and the door is still open, but not forever. So go forward while it's still open.